Hello, everyone. How you doing tonight? Welcome to Real News Live. We got a lot going on today, of course, and a lot going on in the news. Sorry I wasn't here Friday night or Saturday night, but welcome. A lot going on. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Karen. Hi, Corinne. Hi, Nana. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Mark. Hi, Minnie. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Richard. Hi, Matt. Hi, Debbie. Oh no, this. Hi, Billy. How you doing tonight? Hi, Jeff. And yeah, it's a crazy world out there with everything going on. Of course, Eurozone inflations are soaring past forecasted. Any forecast that they could even have seen. B-52s moving to Australia. We got a lot to talk about. But the forecast, of course, of this new record high inflation that's happening in Europe right now is a devastating sign of what's to come. Eurozone inflation has surged past expectations yet again this month to hit record highs, pointing at further interest rate hikes from, of course, the central bank. The Feds, of course, are looking at raising rates again, even though that we're already above the rate. That interest, of course, will be beyond our national debt or our income and taxes. Hi, James. Hi, Alex. Hi, Julie. Hi, Tia. Just seen you guys join. But it's sad watching what's happening. Of course, over 19 countries in Europe itself are accelerating to over 10% inflation for October. From a month earlier, it was 9.9. Now they're 10.7. This is looking bad. A lot less than 25 days of diesel left. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Of course, the U.S. economy is dead in the water, and inflation is squeezing consumers. That's just something we have to face now. I mean, this is despite the GDP growing in the third quarter, the 2.6% for the third quarter is not a good number. It is not even close to a good number. The inflation is still biting consumers' wallets. And of course, people are spending less, more on credit, while credit and interest rates are at an all-time high. We're seeing that happen, of course, in housing now when people can't get loans, and the housing market now is getting flooded with properties for sale. It's a sad but true event. Something we all have to face that's coming to the future. It's coming to everyone. Something everyone has to be ready for. Of course, one thing in good news is beef harvest was exceeded expectations. Of course, expectations were a very, very meager turnout, lower than we actually need. We're still not going to have the amount of beef that we would like in circulation for winter months, but livestock, of course, and meat specialist reports are coming out stating that we will have at least beef for this winter, maybe not nearly as much, but last week's harvest exceeded expectations with an estimated 673,000 heads of cattle. That is 13,000 more than the previous week, and about 11,000 above the same week last year. Of course, last year we weren't having restaurants open or anything else. Yeah. Yeah. Interest rates are going to be easily over that 17.5% when we go to plus 6 points. And it's something that people need to realize. Democrats are preparing and are prepared for the loss of Congress as voters break to the GOP. Inflation fears, of course, are amongst the most concerned, heavily weighted amongst American voters right now. Abortion issues seem to be fading. Obviously, that wasn't going to hold up when people were more concerned about putting food on their table than, of course, and heating their homes than having more children at this point. Biden got testy, of course, in a call to Zelensky asking for more military aid, as reports are coming out today. when Biden, even after Biden signed off on over $1 billion worth of military aid assistance just this last week. This is ridiculous at this point. And the only reason Biden's getting upset is because he knows his party is losing. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia, of course, Biden's administration has considered hindering military aid to Saudi Arabia in a punishing response to cutting oil production. Now, this is never supposed to happen. It was never a tit-for-tat agreement. The Biden administration is considering delaying promised military aid to Saudi Arabia in response to the Gulf country's oil decision to slash production. It's crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, Turkey is $1 over ridiculous prices. It's just everything's going to be ridiculous. But watching, of course, everything that's happening. We're talking about not sending the Patriot missiles that are, of course, we send to Saudi Arabia every year as contract. They purchased 300 of them from the U.S., and now we're not going to send them. They paid for these already. As the contract to purchase the 300 of these missiles, we're not going to send them when they're willing to pay. Of course, these missile defenses defend against attacks from Houthi rebels in Yemen. So what are we expecting now that oil fields just to burn? Is that what Biden wants? Is he finally giving up and just let the world burn? Is that what he's saying? As Biden, of course, his claims of gas prices, typically costing $5 a gallon when he took office, are still in his mouth. He's still saying when he became president, most common gas price in America was $5 per gallon. Over and over again, this $5 per gallon, I don't know where he gets it from. Yeah, oil fields are closing here, refineries are closing here. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. But this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Of course, the U.S. diesel shortage is worsening as distilleries inventories crashed to multi-year lows. The U.S. refineries permanently shut down some refiner capacity at the start of the pandemic when fuel demand plunged. Those refineries were never allowed to restart because of Biden and his politics. Diesel shortage and high diesel prices don't bode well for the global economy, which could tip into a recession at some point next year. We're already in a recession. Time for people to wake up. The multi-year low inventories, constraint on supply, are exacerbated by diesel shortages in the United States, especially on the East Coast. Diesel demand continues to be strong after recovering faster from the pandemic slump than other fuels such as gasoline. Refiners, of course, are saying they don't have the capability of capacity to distill diesel at a rate needed. Several factors have combined this year to deplete the U.S. distilleries' inventories, which include diesel and heating fuel ahead of the winter. The distillery fuel crunch is worsening. Refinery capacity is now lower than it was before COVID, as operating refineries' capacity shrank in 2021 for the second consecutive year, stand around 17.9 million barrels per calendar day. Now, total fuel usage, we use around 21 million barrels a day. We are only capable of refining 17.9. The diesel fuel and other fuels, of course, took a slump. Something is going to happen here, as we're no longer allowed to use Chinese refineries to refine the oil, because Biden just made that an announcement. The facilities that closed and converted them to biofuel refineries because of Biden's global initiative for the Green New Deal. This is all leading to the same thing. People are going to need to know what it is happening. We're at less than 19 days worth of diesel fuel. As we're moving heavy planes and machinery, tanks and other things, the 100 million barrels of diesel fuel that was in the strategic reserve is disappearing quickly. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's pushing the information. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, we obviously blew pipeline. This is just going to keep happening. The U.S. refinery capacity, of course, and diesel shortages and high diesel prices are going to be slowing down as the economy cannot handle the fuel. And it will end up in a recession or a depression at this point. Distilled fuels are used for transportation and agriculture and manufacturing and heating. I mean, the U.S. distilled fuel industry and inventories are 20% below the 5-year average for this time of year. 20% below. And we do not have the capability of refining fuel at a faster pace or buying it pre-refined or even having it refined outsourced. This is crazy. The regional markets are getting very tight with diesel fuel, with the fuel they do have. I mean, the 25-day outlook was, of course, including the strategic reserve. Yeah, I've been seeing tons of military vehicles, reports of them not only being loaded up and moved around on highways, but being flown to other countries or being put on ships and loaded onto merchant ships and taken over the ocean. This is happening, folks, whether we want it to or not. This is something we have to be honest with and be open about and talk about. Households in the Northwest who rely on heating oil for space heating will see 27% higher bills this winter compared to last winter alone. Last winter, fuel prices were ridiculous. Talking another 27%, they can't afford the prices they had to pay last year. What are they going to do now? The forecast for heating oil margins this winter reflect price pressure that have been currently affecting U.S. distilling markets, including low inventories, low imports, and limited refining capacities due to Biden's strict rules to cripple the country. Can you hear me now? You guys probably hear a lot of background sound, but I'm sorry about that. For some reason, my audio processing software just died in the middle of my live. Very, very sorry about that. But I'm going to try to clean the sound up a little bit real quick. Just give me one moment. There you go. You should be able to hear me a little bit better. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but Ukraine unleashed a massive kamikaze drone attack on the Russian Black Sea Fleet. But yet these drone boats look identical to the U.S. drones, which just makes me wonder, are they ours? And was it us attacking Russia's Black Sea Fleet directly? Of course, the damage seen to the Black Sea Fleet has caused Russia to retaliate drastically, as Russia suspended grain deals over the ship attacks. Not just the ship attacks, Russia said now they have proof that NATO was directly involved in blowing up the pipeline. This is not a good sign. Russia has taken out much of the power and water throughout Ukrainian cities. I mean, a massive barrage of missiles struck, of course, this morning, hitting critical infrastructure everywhere. Kiev, especially, has no water right now. A major city with millions of people in it with no water whatsoever. People were not hit, but the infrastructure has been taken out. Russia is now knocking out major infrastructure all around that country. As Moscow claims Ukraine's attacks on the Black Sea Fleet over the weekend were uncalled for, and they're going to do what they're going to do. Russia's not claiming it was us, but Russia's obviously taking it out on Ukraine. Yeah, no fuel, and everybody's worried about Turkey. That's the crazy part of what's happening. The Russian defense minister said the strike with long-range, high-precision missiles, air-to-sea-based weapons against the military command of the Ukrainian energy system the goals were strikes were achieved. All designated targets were hit. And this shows that the missiles, of course, that we've been hearing about on the news, on mainstream media, they've been saying Russia's technology is so old it cannot do what we can do. They cannot target direct infrastructure. Our missile defense systems can take down any of their missiles. Russia proved in one day, this morning, by taking out infrastructure in pretty much the entire country, not just in a couple key cities, the entire country of Ukraine is without power, water. I mean, the Ukrainian Air Force said it managed to shoot down 44 more of the 50 cruise missiles that were launched by Russia. But if that's possible, then only 6 of the cruise missiles actually hit target. How did only 6 cruise missiles manage to take out all the infrastructure? We had over 50% of the country left with power before today. I mean, this is crazy. 10 Ukrainian drones supposedly damaged 18 objects, which were near energy facilities. Makes no sense. Hundreds of locations and several Ukrainian regions are left without power. Hundreds of locations. Hundreds of cities without power. This is crazy. There's no power, no water in the biggest city, which is Kiev. I mean, air raid sirens were wailing for over 3 straight hours this morning. Emergency messages and threats of missile attacks and air raid sirens all going off all morning. 80% of the consumers in the city, 3 million people, were left without water and power in Kiev. 3 million people. 80%. This is crazy. Obviously, Russia knew what they were doing, and obviously they have technology far beyond what our government was wanting us to know. I mean, this heavy barrage on Ukraine without civilian casualties? They're not mentioning mass casualty event. This is not that kind of event. Russia took out water and power. Military bases, that's what they took out. These were strategic strikes. Not like our carpet bombing that we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. They didn't carpet bomb houses along with the utilities. They took strategic missiles and fired them and took out exactly what they wanted to. You could say that's not a big concern, but what if that happens here in America? As we push, of course, Russia back into a corner. The Biden administration doesn't want to admit what's happening, as we see it happen day by day. They have hinted targets in the U.S. Yes, they have. Yeah, carpet bombing is a U.S. thing. But nobody else is allowed to launch missiles or drop bombs like that because it's against the Geneva Convention. But the U.S. doesn't. Against terrorists. Remember? It was against terrorists. Killing over 300,000 Afghanistan citizens over the course of 20 years. Nobody bats an eye. But we've seen it take control. We've seen what people do. And we've seen the devastation caused. It's scary. Like I said, the good news is Democrats have, knowing they're losing the office, so hopefully we will see some turnaround there soon. And beef production is actually more than we expected. Can't say the same thing about rice, flour, and wheat because it's not there. So we'll control the House and the Senate, but who knows what happens after that. So good but bad. All great things have to have a, I guess, negative impact. As diesel prices soar, wheat prices soar, and global supply of grain is pulled out from under us, literally, as Russia makes their intent known. They're not going to be bullied. They're not going to be pushed around. They're going to do what they planned to do in the first place, no matter what we send. Feds raise the rate hikes again because inflation's out of control. It's not going to help anybody. Just make people fall further in debt. They want to have every American making under $500,000 a year living paycheck to paycheck on borrowed credit. Because a workforce that is forced to work to survive is a workforce that the government wants to control. God bless you guys. Definitely appreciate you guys. Stay safe, stay strong, and God bless America. God bless America. I'll see you guys Wednesday night, sorry. See you guys Wednesday night, and good night for now. God bless you.